The 2024 Formula One season was full of thrilling races, unexpected twists, and fierce competition. At the heart of this excitement was the battle between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris, two of the sport's most talented young drivers. While Verstappen ultimately clinched his fourth consecutive world title,
the Dutch driver will retain his crown! Max Verstappen is a four-time Formula One world champion!
It was Norris and his McLaren team that truly captured the imagination of fans worldwide. Verstappen secured his championship with 61 points to spare, but the story behind those numbers is far more complex. The season was split into two distinct halves, with Red Bull and Verstappen dominating the early races before facing their toughest challenge in years. Verstappen's early season dominance was reminiscent of his record-breaking 2023 campaign. He won 7 of the first Grands Prix, narrowly missing out on matching his own record of 10 consecutive wins due to a brake failure in Melbourne. This setback handed the victory to Carlos Sainz, but it did little to slow Verstappen's momentum. However, the tide began to turn at the Austrian Grand Prix. In a fierce battle for the lead, Norris and Verstappen collided while dueling for position. The incident resulted in punctures for both drivers, with Verstappen managing to salvage a 6th-place finish while Norris failed to score. This 15-point swing in Verstappen's favor would prove crucial in the final championship standings. The collision marked the beginning of a remarkable dry spell for Verstappen. For 10 long race weekends, the Dutch national anthem remained unplayed at the podium ceremony. It wasn't until the rain-soaked Brazilian Grand Prix that Verstappen would stand atop the podium again, following what many consider the drive of the century. From 7:06 onwards, during Verstappen's winless streak, McLaren emerged as the team to beat. Their car's pace was undeniable, and Norris quickly established himself as Verstappen's closest rival. This sudden shift in the competitive order led to calls for McLaren to implement team orders, prioritizing Norris over his Australian teammate, Oscar Piastri. But McLaren, under the leadership of team principal Andreas Stella, initially resisted these calls. Stella consistently emphasized that the team would do what is best for the team rather than favoring one driver over the other. This approach would be put to the test at the Hungarian Grand Prix, a race that would become a defining moment in Norris's season. In Hungary, Verstappen struggled to find pace, finishing 5th and opening the door for Norris to close the gap in the championship standings. The McLarens dominated the race, but a strategic decision during the final round of pit stops put Norris in the lead ahead of Piastri. What followed was a controversial team order that required Norris to give way to his younger teammate. Norris initially resisted, arguing that he was the one fighting for the Drivers' Championship and deserved the extra 7 points for the win. The team's attempts to persuade Norris over the radio were awkward and embarrassing, highlighting the challenges of implementing team orders in the heat of competition. Eventually, with just 2 laps remaining, Norris conceded the position, allowing Piastri to claim his maiden Grand Prix victory. This incident sparked intense debate within the F1 community. Some criticized McLaren for not being battle-hard enough, suggesting that their years away from championship contention had left them ill-prepared for the pressures of a title fight. Others questioned whether prioritizing the team's overall result over Norris's championship aspirations was the right call. The controversy continued at the Italian Grand Prix in Monza. With Norris and Piastri locking out the front row of the grid, McLaren introduced their papaya rules, a policy allowing the drivers to race each other but avoid actions detrimental to the team. However, this approach backfired when Piastri's aggressive move at the second chicane not only passed Norris but also allowed Charles Leclerc to overtake his teammate. McLaren's failure to contain the Ferraris proved costly, with Leclerc ultimately taking the checkered flag and securing a home win for the Scuderia. Even when it became clear that the race was lost, McLaren didn't order Piastri to yield to Norris, potentially costing the team valuable points in both championships. It wasn't until after the Singapore Grand Prix that McLaren finally adjusted their strategy. Stella announced that there would be an appropriate bias towards Norris for the remainder of the season to support his title aspirations. This shift in policy came into play during the Brazilian Grand Prix, where Piastri gifted the sprint race win to Norris, gaining his teammate an extra point in the championship fight. Despite these late-season efforts, Verstappen's remarkable drive from 17th to victory in the Brazilian Grand Prix effectively ended Norris's title hopes. McLaren's delayed implementation of their papaya rules ultimately proved too little, too late. Now, as we look ahead to the 2025 season, Lando Norris has made an announcement that has shocked the Formula One community. In a surprising twist, Norris revealed that McLaren will be refreshing their approach to team orders, allowing both drivers an equal opportunity to fight for the championship. Speaking to the media at McLaren's Technology Center in Woking, Norris explained, "A lot of what you guys write about and talk about has been because of the championship fight, the drivers' championship fight, and that's where a lot of talk and things started. And I earned my right to have some of those privileges. I earned my right by doing a good job through the whole season, to be given that opportunity." This statement acknowledges the controversial nature of team orders while also asserting Norris's belief that his performance justified the preferential treatment he received. However, Norris was quick to emphasize that this is not his preferred way of competing. He said, "I don't go around asking for it, and it's certainly not how I want to win a championship. I want to go out and give Max a fair fight and do my part and earn it my way." Norris's announcement reflects a significant shift in McLaren's strategy for the upcoming season. By resetting the driver hierarchy, the team is demonstrating confidence in both Norris and Piastri's abilities to compete at the highest level. This move could potentially increase intra-team competition, pushing both drivers to new heights as they vie for supremacy within the team. The decision to refresh the team's approach aligns with Oscar Piastri's own ambitions for the 2025 season. The young Australian driver has expressed his determination to avoid falling into a support role again. Piastri's strategy for achieving this goal focuses on improving his early season performance, recognizing that his slow start in 2024 contributed to Norris emerging as the team's priority. Piastri reflected on the team orders situation, saying, "To be honest, I wasn't that disappointed with giving that up. Of course, I would have loved to have won the sprint, but it's a very different scenario to a Grand Prix. I think I proved what I wanted to prove in terms of qualifying on pole." He added, "And obviously next year I want to make sure that I'm not in a position, championship-wise, to be subject to that. But in reality, I needed to help out that one time in Brazil, and that's been it. So it's been a lot of talk, but not much on-track action." Piastri's comments highlight the delicate balance teams must strike between supporting individual drivers' championship aspirations and maximizing the team's overall performance. His focus on improving his own results to avoid being in a position where team orders are necessary is a proactive approach that could benefit both him and the team in the long run. McLaren's decision to reset their driver hierarchy is further supported by CEO Zak Brown. Brown believes that starting the 2025 season fresh is the best way forward for the team. He stated, "We're starting 2025 fresh. Oscar has an opportunity to fight for the championship too, and we're confident both drivers will deliver." Brown's confidence in both drivers is well-founded. The 2024 season saw McLaren claim their first Constructors' Championship in 26 years, with Norris and Piastri contributing a combined 6 victories. Norris secured 4 wins, while Piastri claimed 2, including his maiden victory in Hungary and a masterful drive in Baku. The team's success in 2024 was not without its challenges, however. McLaren faced criticism for their handling of certain situations, particularly their failure to implement effective team orders at crucial moments. These experiences have provided valuable lessons in race management and strategic decision-making, which the team will undoubtedly apply in the upcoming season. Looking ahead to 2025, McLaren finds itself in an enviable position. Having finished the previous season with what many consider the fastest car on the grid, both Norris and Piastri are viewed as serious contenders for the Drivers' Championship. However, this approach also has potential pitfalls. Intra-team rivalries can sometimes lead to on-track incidents or off-track tensions that could harm the team's overall performance. Managing this delicate balance will be a key challenge for Stella and the rest of the McLaren leadership team. You might think Max Verstappen is the highest-paid driver in Formula One, but that's no longer the case. A stunning shift has completely reshaped the financial hierarchy of the sport, leaving everyone surprised. Lewis Hamilton has taken the top spot with a potential $100 million annual salary. So what exactly is going on here? To fully appreciate the magnitude of this event, we must first understand how Formula One driver salaries operate. Unlike many other sports, F1 does not impose a salary cap on driver earnings. This means teams are free to compensate their drivers as they see fit, limited only by their own financial resources and willingness to invest in talent. In recent years, we've witnessed a notable trend of increasing driver salaries. reflecting the growing global popularity of the sport and the immense value top drivers bring to their teams. Let's examine the numbers that set the stage for this dramatic turn of events. In 2024, Max Verstappen held the crown as Formula One's highest-paid driver. The Dutch phenom, fresh off his fourth consecutive world championship, commanded an eye-watering salary package from Red Bull Racing. Breaking it down, Verstappen's earnings consisted of a $60 million base salary, supplemented by an additional $15 million in performance-related bonuses. This brought his total compensation for the 2024 season to a staggering $75 million. How did Lewis Hamilton's earnings compare during his final year with Mercedes? The British driver, widely regarded as one of the greatest of all time, found himself in the unfamiliar position of second place on the salary charts. Hamilton's 2024 Mercedes contract provided him with a base salary of $55 million, with a relatively modest $2 million in bonuses. This brought his total earnings for the year to $57 million, still an enormous sum, but notably behind Verstappen's package. The balance of power shifted dramatically when Hamilton announced his shocking move to Ferrari for the 2025 season. This transfer, described by many as the biggest driver move in F1 history, immediately sparked intense speculation about the financial terms of the deal. How much would the legendary Scuderia be willing to pay to secure the services of the sport's most successful driver? As news of the transfer broke, Ferrari's stock prices experienced a noticeable uptick, highlighting the immediate commercial impact of Hamilton's star power. But it was the salary figures that truly captured the imagination of fans and experts alike. According to reports from the highly respected Forbes magazine, Hamilton's Ferrari contract is set to catapult him back to the top of F1's earning charts, surpassing even Verstappen's record-setting deal. While exact figures remain unconfirmed, Forbes estimates that Hamilton's base salary at Ferrari will exceed $75 million per year. When factoring in potential bonuses, image rights, and other commercial arrangements, some sources suggest that Hamilton's total annual earnings could reach an unprecedented $100 million. If these projections prove accurate, it would represent the largest driver salary package in Formula One history. To put this into perspective, let's break down the reported structure of Hamilton's Ferrari contract. His base salary is estimated to be over $75 million per year. Performance bonuses could potentially worth tens of millions of dollars. Image rights and commercial agreements could push total earnings to around $100 million annually. Contract duration is of initial 2-year deal, with an option for a third season in 2027. It's important to note that these figures are based on reports and estimates from reputable sources, but the exact details of Hamilton's contract remain confidential. The question naturally arises: why would Ferrari be willing to invest such an astronomical sum in a driver who will be 40 years old at the start of the 2025 season? The answer lies in a combination of factors that make Lewis Hamilton a uniquely valuable asset. First and foremost is Hamilton's unparalleled track record of success. With 7 world championships, over 100 race wins, and more pole positions than any driver in history, Hamilton brings a wealth of experience and proven ability to deliver results. Ferrari, a team that hasn't won a driver's championship since 2007 with Kimi Raikkonen, is desperate to return to the top step of the podium. They clearly believe Hamilton is the man to lead that charge. Secondly, Hamilton's global popularity and marketability extend far beyond the racetrack. He has become a cultural icon, using his platform to advocate for social causes and attracting a diverse fan base that reaches well beyond traditional motorsport audiences. For Ferrari, signing Hamilton isn't just about on-track performance. It's a major coup in terms of brand exposure and commercial opportunities. The potential financial benefits for Ferrari are substantial. Hamilton's arrival is expected to boost merchandise sales, increase sponsorship revenue, and potentially even impact the value of Ferrari's road car business. When viewed through this lens, the enormous salary begins to look more like a strategic investment than a simple expense. To fully grasp the impact of Hamilton's new salary, it's essential to compare it to other top earners in Formula One. Let's examine some of the highest-paid drivers and their recent contract developments. Lando Norris recently saw his salary increase to around $35 million per year. Norris's new contract, signed in January 2024, locks him in with McLaren until the end of the 2028 season, with an option to extend into 2029. His base salary is reported to be £9.5 million, with potential bonuses pushing his total earnings to £27.5 million annually. Hamilton's new teammate, Charles Leclerc, signed a contract extension in January 2024, keeping him with Ferrari until the end of 2029. Leclerc's new deal is reported to be worth £25 million per year, with bonuses potentially increasing that to £29 million. The two-time world champion Fernando Alonso signed a new contract with Aston Martin in April 2024, committing to the team until at least the end of 2026. Alonso's base salary is reported to be £19 million, with potential bonuses adding another £3 million. With Hamilton's departure, George Russell became the de facto team leader at Mercedes. His current contract, running until the end of 2025, is worth £12 million per year, with bonuses potentially increasing that to £18 million. Oscar Piastri signed an improved contract in September 2023, sees him earn £4.5 million per year, with potential bonuses pushing that figure to £17.5 million. These figures highlight just how far ahead Hamilton and Verstappen are in terms of driver compensation, and how Hamilton's new Ferrari deal is set to push the boundaries even further. Hamilton's mega deal with Ferrari is likely to have far-reaching consequences for the Formula One landscape. It represents a significant shift in the financial power dynamics of the sport, potentially setting a new benchmark for what top drivers can command in salary negotiations. We may see other leading drivers using Hamilton's contract as leverage in their own discussions with teams, potentially driving salaries even higher across the board. It's worth noting that F1 drivers' salaries are now beginning to rival those of top athletes in other sports. While they haven't quite reached the stratospheric levels of soccer superstars like Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi, who command salaries of $285 million and $135 million per year, the gap is narrowing. The total combined salaries of the top 10 F1 drivers in 2024 reached $317 million, a figure that's likely to increase further in 2025 with Hamilton's new deal. As Hamilton prepares to don the famous red overalls of Ferrari, expectations for the 2025 season are sky high. Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur has made it clear that the team believes they can challenge for the title with Hamilton and Leclerc at the wheel. In a recent interview with Sky F1, Vasseur stated, "Yeah, if you have a look at this season, 2024, I think Charles scored the biggest number of points after Monza or something like this when we started to react and started to do a better job on our side. It means that everything is possible. It's just a matter to put everything together to minimize the number of mistakes. It's true that on this season, the long season, 24 events that we have always up and down. But what is positive for us is that we had a tough journey around June, July, and as a team, we were able to react and to react quickly, and this is encouraging." The Ferrari team principal also recognizes that success in 2025 will require flawless execution. "It's true that we did a good 2024 season, at least much better than 2023. Racing is going in the right direction and reliability. Pit stop, strategy, number of points scored during the season, something like plus 60%, number of wins. We are going on the right direction. But the most important is the last step, and we missed the title for 14 points. It's not in Abu Dhabi that we missed something. I think it's much before, and if you want to fight next year for the championship, you have to do everything perfect."